Today, in our botany online classroom session, we are going to discuss about the topic applications of biotechnology. It is covered under paper 8 in final BSc Life Sciences. So, the applications of biotechnology are so broad and the advantages are very useful, and in every industry these are utilized and developments are underway in areas like pharmaceuticals, diagnostics, textiles, aquaculture, forestry, agriculture, and in environmental cleanup, food processing, etc. Biotechnology is enabling these industries to make better products with greater efficiency and flexibility. So, biotechnology holds significant role in the future, and also biotechnology must continue to be careful regulated so that maximum benefits are received with the least risk. The current applications of biotechnology are predominantly in the fields of agriculture, energy from renewable sources, and agricultural waste utilized, and in genetic engineering technology also it is applied, and in the medicine, in the production of the antibiotics, vitamins, steroids, insulin, interferon, etc. are utilized, and these genetically engineered products are applied to the human beings. And in the food technology, products of fermentation in the wine, beer, cheese, yogurt, and yeasts, etc. utilized. And also in environmental biotechnology, decontamination of the environmental components like water, air, and soil taking place, and also utilized in the production of the chemicals, environmental friendly chemicals, and in the production of the biosensors, and in the prevention of the pollution, and also in the waste management. So, applications of biotechnology in food, pharmaceuticals, and agricultural industries are well known. In the medical biotechnology, in the production of the diagnostic technology, in the therapeutics, and in the vaccines, biotechnology applications are utilized. In case of the agricultural biotechnology, where plant agricultural, farms, and food processing sectors are applied. And in environmental biotechnology, cleaning through bioremediation, preventing environmental problems are applied. And in the forensic biotechnology also, in case of the paternity tests through the DNA fingerprinting, and in the scientific investigations, biotechnology applications are utilized. In industrial biotechnology, in the field of the energy production and in the production of the new materials, biotechnology is utilized. So, in the field of the agriculture, genetically modified planting mats and hybrids are produced. In the field of the micro propagation also, biotechnology is utilized. In the production of the biofertilizers and biopesticides are utilized, and in the improvement of the animals also biotechnology applications are utilized. In healthcare, recombinant DNA products like vaccines and diagnostics are produced by using the biotechnology applications, and also monoclonal antibodies, which are specific in identification of the pathogens, are produced. And also in the field of the stem cell production also biotechnology applications are being utilized, and tissue specific delivery methods are being developed in the field of the cancer treatment. And in case of the industry, several enzymes are produced which have industrial importance, and several fermentation based products, food biotech instruments in the production of the industrial equipment, and in the production of the bioenergy and biofuel, and in the fields of the bioinformatics and biomining, these applications are utilized. In the field of environmental science, biotechnology applications are utilized in soil and water remediation, and also in the fields of biosafety and genetically modified organisms, these biotechnology applications are utilized. So now we see the Agrobacterium tumefaciens, how it is useful in production of the genetically modified plants, or these are also called as transgenic plants. In the field of genetic engineering, the most important issue is the production of the transgenic plants. So here Agrobacterium tumefaciens bacteria is utilized to transfer the gene into the plants, because Agrobacterium tumefaciens bacteria, it naturally infects the roots of the plants, and the tDNA region of the plasmid, that is called as TA plasmid, is transferred naturally into the plant cells, so that this part is utilized for the transferring the genes into the plants. Here we see in Agrobacterium tumefaciens, this is the TA plasmid, and the part of the TA plasmid is called as tDNA. So this part of the tDNA is transferred into the plants, and the Agrobacterium infects the plant roots. So our genetic engineering scientists, they are transferring the genes into the tDNA part. Here we see the desired gene is cut, and it is ligated into this foreign DNA, or desired gene is ligated into the tDNA. So it is inserted here, that desired gene. It might be disease resistant gene or some other gene of interest. So once the desired gene is inserted into the TA plasmid at tDNA, now it is called as recombinant TA plasmid. So now this plasmid is removed from the bacterium, and the tDNA is cut by restriction enzyme to insert the foreign DNA. Now it is called as recombinant TA plasmid, and this recombinant TA plasmid is reinserted into the Agrobacterium tumefaciens, and now this bacterium, which contains the recombinant plasmid, is introduced into the soil. So these are the original plant cells, and now this Agrobacterium tumefaciens, it infects the plant cell and transfers the tDNA region into the plant genome. So the bacterium is used to insert the tDNA carrying the foreign gene into the chromosome of a plant. So this process can be done in the tissue culture technology. Here we can use the callus cells or the somatic embryos for the infection by the Agrobacterium tumefaciens bacteria. When the callus cells or the somatic embryos of the plants are infected with the Agrobacterium tumefaciens, the tDNA region of the TA plasmid enters into the plant genome of the callus cells or the somatic embryos. So these plant cells which are infected by the bacteria can be grown on the medium, culture medium, and in the presence of the specific antibiotic, only the transgenic plant cells grow on the medium. The remaining plant cells without transformation they can't grow. Only the plant cells which are transformed can grow in the presence of the antibiotics. Now these cells grow by using the tissue culture methods and they form the callus or the somatic embryos. Later they grow into the plantlets. So these plants are called as transgenic plants. So by using this technology, several transgenic plants are produced. For example, BT cotton. So the gene from Bacillus thuringiensis. Bacillus thuringiensis is the bacteria. So it is also called as bioinsecticide. It protects the cotton plants from the cotton boll insect. So the gene that is called as Bacillus thuringiensis toxin, BT toxin, is useful in eradication of the disease. Hence, the BT toxin gene is inserted into the TA plasmid of the Agrobacterium tumefaciens, and this recombinant plasmid is introduced back into the Agrobacterium tumefaciens. When these transformed bacteria are used to infect the callus cells of the cotton plants, the gene part which contains the BT toxin enters into the genome, plant genome, and it produces the BT toxin. So the callus cells which are produced by this method contain the BT toxin gene, and the plants which are produced from the callus contain the BT toxin gene in all of the cells, so that it gets the natural resistance from the cotton boll insect. So in the agricultural biotechnology, the main purpose of the agricultural biotechnology is genetic improvement of the crop plants to produce maximum yield and also to resist adverse climatic factors, diseases and herbicides. It also explains the method of culturing microorganisms which can be used as biofertilizers and as bioinsecticides in the agriculture. Nitrogen fixing organisms which fix the atmospheric nitrogen. So in the atmosphere we find 75% of the nitrogen which is in the gaseous form, but it can't be utilized by the plants. So a small group of microorganisms called nitrogen fixing organisms are capable of converting the atmospheric gaseous nitrogen into organic nitrogen or the ammonia. The nitrogen fixers are two types, namely symbiotic and non-symbiotic. The symbiotic nitrogen fixing organisms get associated with the roots of higher plants and fix the atmospheric nitrogen in the soil. Example, rhizobium, anabina, etc. These are called as symbiotic nitrogen fixing organisms. But there are some organisms like Azotobacter, Azotococcus, Klebsiella. These live freely in the soil and fix the nitrogen in the soil. Recombinant DNA technology helped in the cloning of the NIF genes to the non-nitrogen fixing microorganisms. So the scientists found specific kind of the genes named as NIF genes. That means nitrogen fixing genes, NIF genes. So they found several kinds of the NIF genes found in the nitrogen fixing organisms. So by utilizing the recombinant DNA technology, they cloned the NIF genes, they isolated the NIF genes from the nitrogen fixing organisms and they cloned these nitrogen fixing genes. They are also called as NIF genes into the non-nitrogen fixing microorganisms also. For example, E. coli, Salmonella, Typhimurium, Pseudomonas, etc. organisms are genetically modified to fix the atmospheric nitrogen in the soil. So cloning of the NIF genes was first achieved by plasmid called PWK120 mediated conjugation. So now efforts are being made to change the genetic systems of cereals so that they may have NIF genes and fix atmospheric nitrogen. So as of now, we know that particularly legume plants or fabaceae plants are naturally associated with the symbiotic nitrogen fixing organisms. So they can get benefit by these organisms. They fix the atmospheric nitrogen in the form of the ammonia or nitrate, and they provide the these ammonia or nitrates to the plants. But in case of the monocots, especially cereals, also this technology can be applied. So what the agricultural scientists are doing, they are identifying the genes which are involved in the nitrogen fixation and they name them as NIF genes or nitrogen fixation genes. So they isolated these genes from the nitrogen fixing organisms and now they are inserting by cloning these NIF genes into the non-nitrogen fixing microorganisms. So these microorganisms also may be capable of fixing the atmospheric nitrogen. So some of the microorganisms which are associated with the cereal plants also get benefited by this cloning process, so that cereals also can get benefited by these organisms. They can get the atmospheric fixed nitrogen from this associated microorganisms. And also there are specific biofertilizers, particularly we discussed here already biological nitrogen fixation bacteria which are called as biofertilizers, for example rhizobium, azolla, etc. So they help in building up the soil microflora and thereby the soil health. Biofertilizers also include organic fertilizers. So use of biofertilizer is recommended for improving the soil fertility in organic farming. And there are other microorganisms called phosphate solubilizing microorganisms. So these are also called as PSB, phosphate solubilizing bacteria. Phosphate is also one of the most important micronutrient required for plant growth. Plants absorb phosphate only in the form of the soluble phosphate ions. In the soil, phosphates are present in combined form with calcium, iron, aluminum, etc. and they are insoluble in water. but they can be converted into soluble phosphate by activity of the group of microbes called as phosphate solubilizing microorganisms. These include Penicillium digitatum, Bacillus species, Aspergillus species, Fusarium oxysporum, Xanthomonas species, Pseudomonas species, Flavor bacterium, Escherichia intermedia, etc. So they reduce the necessity of the phosphate fertilizers in the agriculture, because they can effectively, the small amounts of the insoluble phosphates also can be converted into the soluble form, so that the necessity of the chemical fertilizers, phosphate fertilizers, is minimized by using this phosphate solubilizing microorganisms. So now this biotechnology is exploited for making the for producing the this phosphate solubilizing microorganisms by fermentation in large quantities. So in the field of industry, these phosphate solubilizing microorganisms are produced in large quantities and they are supplied to the farmers, and when they use this phosphate solubilizing microorganisms as the fertilizer, these microorganisms, they convert the insoluble phosphates in the soil into the soluble form. And also seaweeds. Seaweeds are the giant-sized marine algal members. The important seaweeds include Macrocystis, Sargassum, Laminaria, Gracilaria, etc. are used as green manure in the cultivation of wheat, potato, citrus, etc. They increase the quality and yield of the plants due to the presence of nitrogen, potassium in their cells. They also contain trace elements like cobalt, manganese, boron, iodine, etc., which enrich the soil. So they minimize the utilization of the chemical fertilizers. So, and also vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza, these are also abbreviated as VAM, is a group of fungi which form symbiotic association with the root system of the higher plants. So they may form ecto or endomycorrhizal associations in the roots of the angiosperms, gymnosperms and pteridophytes. So these VAM organisms or VAM fungi infect a number of agricultural crops like rice, cotton, tobacco, citrus, sugarcane, etc. They also infect the plantation crops like rubber, coffee, tea, papaya, etc. So they play an important role in plant growth. The VAM fungi increase the absorption of more phosphate, zinc, water, sulfur, etc. by agricultural crops. Thus, VAM infected plants show increased rate of growth. Fungal strains of Glomus, Azotobacter, Aspergillus are used for inoculation of the seedlings. So here these VAM fungi facilitate the absorption of the nutrients from the soil. So this is the benefit of the VAM fungi, which also can be inoculated in the medium and fermented, and they are produced in large scale by the biotechnological methods. And there are bioinsecticides. So a number of microorganisms are known to be pathogenic on the insects. For example, as we discussed earlier, Bacillus thuringiensis. So in case of the Bacillus thuringiensis, they identified a gene called Bt toxin gene, and they transferred this gene into the Agrobacterium tumefaciens, and this bacteria transferred this Bt gene into the cotton plants. Now these transgenic cotton plants are also called as Bt cotton, or commercially successful. And also there is one more bioinsecticide, popular bioinsecticide called cotton bollworm nuclear polyhedrosis virus. So Now, in the field of agricultural biotechnology, they are using the nuclear polyhedrosis virus, and they are producing it in larger quantities in the fermentation and in different methods, and they are applying in eradication of the cotton boll worm. So, as we discussed earlier, there are several nitrogen fixing bacteria like Rhizobium, Azotobacter, Mycobacterium, Azospirillum, and Bacillus, etc. These are produced in large scale by fermentation technology, and they are supplied to the farmers. And also there is one more organism called Azolla. It is an aquatic nitrogen fixing pterophile. So this Azolla, it facilitates blue-green algae like Anabina, Nostoc, Tolipothrix, Anabinopsis, etc. And Azolla folliculoides, Azolla rubra are the species utilized as the biofertilizers. And there are phosphate solubilizing microbes, as we discussed earlier. They convert the non-soluble phosphate into the soluble form in the soil. And vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza, also called as WAM fungi, they also facilitate the absorption of the nutrients by the roots. So these WAM fungi are useful in absorption of the nutrients from the soil by the roots. And also there are some organisms called plant growth promoting rhizobacteria or PGPR. These plant growth promoting rhizobacteria are also called as soil microflora. They are also very useful in the growth of in promoting the growth of the plants. So they facilitate the absorption of the several nutrients from the soil. So they convert the nutrients which are present in the soil into the absorbable form. So some of the nutrients in the soil, there are so many nutrients but which are not in the form absorbed by the plants. So these plant growth promoting rhizobacteria, they grow surrounding the root system, and also they convert these micronutrients or macronutrients of the soil into the soluble form, which can be absorbed by the root system. So they facilitate the absorption efficiently by the root system of the plants, so that plant growth can be enhanced. And there are also sulfur solubilizing microbes. They also convert the sulfur into the soluble form so that plants can absorb efficiently. So there are pest resistant plants. They act as biopesticide, and they reduce the need for the insecticides. As we discussed earlier, in case of the BT cotton, BT corn, rice, tomato, potato and soya bean, these bioinsecticides are utilized. For example, BT cotton. In the BT cotton, the Bacillus thuringiensis gene is inserted. The transgenic BT cotton plants are resistant to the insects, and also this gene is now incorporated into corn, rice, etc. In several plants, this BT gene is inserted so that they get the resistance from the insects. So now we see the creation of an insect resistant tomato plant. Here what they have done, the insect resistant gene is identified in some kind of the bacteria, and this insect resistant gene is isolated from that bacterial plasmid, and it is cut and inserted into the plasmid of the bacteria, and again it is that bacteria is transformed by the recombinant plasmid, and this plasmid, which contains the insect resistant gene, is coated by the tungsten or gold particles with the DNA vectors. Now these DNA vectors are vector coated particles are loaded onto the Teflon bullet, and when the bullet is shot into the tissue or callus, this DNA, this recombinant DNA is shot into the plant cells, and here we see this DNA, recombinant DNA, which contains the insect resistant gene, enters into the nucleus and it integrates with the nuclear gene. Now the cells which are transformed by the insect resistant gene are grown on the nutrient medium, and the plant cells which transformed by the foreign gene, that is the insect resistant gene, only grow in the presence of the antibiotics. So these form the callus, these cells which are successfully transformed, they divide and grow and they form the callus or the somatic embryoids, and they form the plantlets. So now these are the tomato plants which gain the insect resistance. So in this way, this biotechnology is applied in the agricultural field. So in case of the medical biotechnology, there are several applications. For example, DNA fingerprinting, gene profiling, prenatal diagnosis of inherited diseases, pharmacogenomics, skin grafting, development of vaccines, biopharmaceuticals like insulin, somatostatin, interferons, and also in gene therapy, this biotechnology methods are applied. So this field is called as medical biotechnology. So medical biotechnology deals with the production of the immunologically active substances such as antibodies, interferons, human growth hormones, vaccines, insulin, etc. These compounds play an important role in diagnosis and treatment of some serious diseases. So when we come to vaccines, vaccine is a preparation containing attenuated or killed bacteria or viruses, which is injected into the organisms to induce active immunity. So vaccination is the intramuscular injection of vaccine to induce the formation of antibodies inside the organisms. This type of immunity is called as acquired immunity. So conventionally, vaccines are prepared from animal material by isolating antigens. But this method of separation has the risk of contamination. If these antigens if these pathogens are not killed, not attenuated, they may pose a risk of causing the disease. So the collection of the enough bacteria or viruses for vaccination is rather difficult also. Therefore, biotechnology has been used to raise new organisms for the production of new vaccines and diagnostic agents. So in such cases, a portion of DNA of disease causing organism is isolated and inserted into E. coli cells. The transformed E. coli cells receive the pathogenic property and can be used as vaccine for the disease concerned. For example, hepatitis B virus causes serious disease like chronic hepatitis, cirrhosis, and primary liver cancer. So recently, it has been possible to clone HBV DNA obtained from infected patients into E. coli, and the transformed E. coli cells were able to produce large quantity of antigen from the cloned HBV DNA. So it made possible to produce hepatitis B vaccine. In Hyderabad also, Shanta Biotech produced hepatitis B vaccine called as Sanvac. Similarly, vaccines against the several pathogenic microbes have been also produced using the recombinant DNA technology. They include Salmonella causing typhoid, Vibrio cholera causing cholera, Plasmodium falciparum causing malaria, etc. And also, in case of the protection of the monoclonal antibodies. So antibodies are the globular proteins produced by animals against the antigens when they enter the body. The antigens include fungi, bacteria, virus, etc. The reaction between the antigen and antibody is very specific. One type of the antibody reacts only with a particular antigen, therefore they are known antibiotics can be used to detect diseases. So antibodies are routinely obtained by injecting an antigen into an experimental animal and later collecting its serum. But the serum contains mixed type of the antibodies which are produced against different types of antigens. So the purification of a desired antibody from the serum becomes a problem. To overcome this difficulty, Kohler and Milstein came with a modern technology to produce identical desired species of antibodies in a large amount. Such homologous antibodies are called monoclonal antibodies. This technology is called hybridoma technology. Monoclonal antibodies play the important role in the field of the medicine. These antibodies are used as diagnostic tool to determine the nature of infectious diseases. So in identification of the several diseases very accurately by HIV and also HBV, and in recent viral diseases also, for example in detecting the COVID also, this technology is very useful. Monoclonal antibodies are used to treat several diseases, and these are linked to the action chain of a biological toxin such as ricin and diphtheria toxin. Such preparations are called immunotoxins. Immunotoxins act as two-edged swords against target cells, the two edges being specificity and cytotoxicity. In recent years, monoclonal antibodies are also used as enzymes. These enzymes are called as AbGens. And also, one more application of biotechnology is production of the interferons. Interferons are protein molecules which are produced by virus infected cells, and these interferons protect the organism from secondary infection by the viruses. They were first discovered by Isaacs and Linderman, and Gilbert and Weizmann first time successfully produced human interferons by using genetically engineered E. coli cells. These commercial preparations have clinical importance. Leukocytic interferons are used in the treatment of breast cancer. Alpha interferons are useful in the treatment of renal carcinoma in human beings. So, in treating several cancers nowadays, these interferons are utilized. These interferons are artificially produced in the industrial quantity. In high quantity, these interferons are produced, and they are useful in treatment of the several cancer diseases. And one more application is production of the insulin. It is one of the most successful application of the biotechnology in medical biotechnology field. So insulin is a hormone which is made of amino acids, is produced by the pancreas of the liver. So insulin is useful for treatment of the person who suffer from diabetes, because they lack the production of the insulin is very low in the diabetes patients. So they get the insulin artificially by the injection or in the form of the tablets. So until a few years ago, insulin is mainly extracted from pancreas of dogs, swines, etc. But now techniques are available for the large scale manufacture of insulin in bacterial cells by transferring the corresponding insulin gene from the human into the bacteria. And now bacteria can produce the insulin in larger quantities in the form of the fermentation. So this is also called as humulin. So genetic therapy, what is genetic therapy? Altering the DNA within the cells in an organism to treat or cure a disease is one of the most promising areas of biotechnology research. So new genetic therapies are being developed to treat diseases such as cystic fibrosis, AIDS and cancer, etc. And DNA fingerprinting is the process of cross-matching two strands of DNA. In criminal investigations, DNA from samples of hair, body fluids or skin at a crime scene are obtained and they are also obtained from the suspects. In practice, it has become one of the most powerful and widely known applications of biotechnology today. And in CCMB, Professor Lal Singh, he successfully applied this DNA fingerprinting technology in the investigations of finding the in several criminal investigations who is the real father, and to for example in case of the Rajiv Gandhi death also, it was successfully applied to identify. Another process, polymerase chain reaction, is also called as PCR, is also being used to more quickly and accurately identify the presence of infections such as AIDS, etc. So paternity determination is also possible because of a child's DNA pattern is inherited half from the mother and half from the father. So to establish paternity, DNA fingerprints of the mother, child and the alleged father are compared. So the matching sequences of the mother and the child are eliminated from the child's DNA fingerprint. What remains comes from the biological father. So these segments are then compared for a match with the DNA fingerprint of the alleged father. So DNA testing is also used on human fossils to determine how closely related fossil samples are from different geographic locations and geological areas. So the results shed light on the history of human evolution and the manner in which human ancestors settled in different parts of the world. So now we come to industrial biotechnology. So in several fields, industrial biotechnology is useful, like it has a role in beverage industry, in production of the antibiotics, in the development of the new vaccines, and in the development of new process for higher production, and also it has a role in food processing, and this technology applied to improve the food quality. So industrial biotechnology applies the techniques of modern molecular biology, and it helps to improve the efficiency and reduce the environmental impacts of industrial manufacturing. For example, industrial biotechnology companies develop biocatalysts such as enzymes to synthesize chemicals. So enzymes are proteins produced by all organisms, but using the biotechnology, the desired enzymes can be manufactured in high quantities. It also called as commercial quantities. So the cost of production is reduced. Commodity chemicals such as polymer grade acrylamide can be produced by using the biotechnology applications. So traditional chemical synthesis involves large amounts of energy and often undesirable products such as HCl. Using the biocatalysts, the same chemicals can be produced more economically and more environmental friendly. An example would be the substitution of protease in detergents for other cleaning compounds. So nowadays protease enzymes are utilized, which are produced by the biotechnology, and they are utilized in the detergents. So these protease production results in a biomass that in turn yields a useful byproduct, an organic fertilizer. So biotechnology is also used in the textile industry for the finishing of fabrics and garments. And biotechnology also produces biotech derived cotton that is warmer, stronger, which is wrinkle and shrink resistant. And nowadays nanotechnology is also applied to produce in several varieties of the fabrics. So another important use of industrial biotechnology is fermentation technology. It contributes various useful products like production of the antibiotics, vaccines in higher quantities. Particularly in fermentation biotechnology, production of the antibiotics and also production of the amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of the proteins. They are used in various industries such as food industry, pharmacy, cosmetic industry, etc. So these amino acids are used in food for imparting flavors and for increasing nutrition value. So in food processing industry, this technology is applied. For example, L-glutamate, L-alanine and L-glycine are the amino acids which are used for flavoring, and L-histidine is used for relief from gastric ulcers, L-cysteine for relief from bronchitis, and L-arginine is used for alleviation of liver disorders. Kinoshita and his co-workers first time reported that microorganisms were able to produce amino acids under cultural conditions. Since then, a number of workers have taken interest in raising new strains of microorganisms in order to produce amino acids. So most of the commercial amino acids belong to L form. So amino acids are available in both L form and D form, but the L form amino acids are commercially useful. So this industrial biotechnology is also successful in production of the alcohols. A number of bacteria produce alcohols during their fermentation. The microbes produce ethanol, methanol and butanol in the fermentation medium. So these alcohols are now used as fuels in many industries. They are called as biofuels. Biofuels do not release too much of carbon dioxide during their combustion. This helps in reducing air pollution. Ethanol is used in the manufacture of synthetic fibers like rayon, polyester, etc. It is also used in manufacture of synthetic rubber, perfumes and acetaldehyde. Methane is a constituent of biogas. Biogas consists of methane and carbon dioxide in the ratio of 2:1. Biogas is a colorless mixture of gases and burns with a blue flame. And several organic acids like citric acid, formic acid, glycolic acid, lactic acid, oxalic acid are produced in the culture medium during the growth of the microorganisms, and these are extracted and grown, and these are produced in industrial quantity. So as we discussed earlier, several antibiotics like amphotericin B, bacitracin, bleomycin, cephalosporin, chloramphenicol, cycloheximide, chloromycetin, erythromycin, gentamicin, tetracycline, etc. These antibiotics are produced in large quantities in the industrial field in the fermentation by using the fermentation technology. Now we see there are several areas in the biotechnology. One is called medical biotechnology, is also called red biotechnology. So this biotechnology is applied to manufacture pharmaceuticals like enzymes, antibiotics, vaccines, and they are also used in the molecular diagnostic. And also white biotechnology or industrial biotechnology is the biotechnology applied to industrial and other production processes. Blue biotechnology or marine biotechnology is marine and aquatic applications of biotechnology. And finally, green biotechnology or agricultural biotechnology is the biotechnology applied to agricultural process and products. Thank you.